I'm LJ Thomas, and this is the Purely Positive Show. Thank you so much for being with us today. And today's guest is a new friend. Her name is Allison Carraway, and she is the founder of the Terrance F Carraway Foundation. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
You are very welcome, and thank you for being here.
Not a problem.
It's terrible rain outside. But thank you for making it anyway.
Don't worry. You got to have rain in your life to appreciate the sunshine.
You know, that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, so tell me, I know. Tell the viewers what the Terrance F Carraway Foundation is.
It's a culmination of Terrance himself. When Terrance tragically passed away, October 3rd, 2018, life changed. Everything changed. But his legacy could not stop. It would stop whether I'd started the foundation or not. The person he was, the light that he brought to the people who knew him and didn't know him, the work that he did in his community here in Darlington as well as in the Florence area and wherever he went. It was lasting, and we want to continue his vision of just selfless service to the community.
That was very beautifully said.
Thank you.
Very beautifully said, because I met him because of the job my husband had at the time at the radio station. I had an accident. He was called out. He was like, "What your chances were?" Yeah, I thought I was in trouble. Anyway, years later, when I sold dinners to help my daughter at North Vista Elementary School, Terrance was one of those officers that came every Friday, parked his cruiser on the grass. He and Lou George sitting in the house.
My goodness.
Every Friday. I sold dinners for 2 months, and they never missed a Friday. Never missed a Friday.
Terrance and Lou were hired both together at the very same time, and you're correct. Neither of them would never miss a meal.
Right.
At any time, any place, anywhere.
You know, he would ask me, "What are you making next week?" I would be like, "Do you have a request?"
Food was his expertise. Besides his being that muscular person and being that wide, strong personality.
Yeah.
That was his expertise.
I had no idea how much of an impact he made on our family, because I knew my husband knew him. But my daughter would come home from school, and I didn't find this out until 2018, that she would actually look forward to the numbers on the cruisers that were parked in the yard. I didn't know that my daughter knew which cruiser was his. And she said in 2018, she goes, "I would be so happy when I would see that one because I knew he was there." They come in the house and laugh and joke with the police and everything. I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, it's a good thing we have the police at the house."
And it was a good thing that they were able to do that. And I admire that about him and Lou. God rest his soul, both have now. They're together in heaven. And they were the true epitome of the community police.
They were.
They would get out of their car and they would talk and they would meet and they would, just be a part of the community that they policed. So I again say that was the true definition of what community policing is about.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's interesting that here we are years later and I am just meeting you.
Yes.
It's very interesting, but I'm happy to make sure to have met your acquaintance and make sure that you will now be in my life. Let me say it that way.
I feel the same.
So, like I said, new friend. A new friend. So, now for those of you who don't know, I think I've told you guys this, but I did relocate back to South Carolina and I live in the Florence, Darlington area. Now, Officer Carraway lived in Darlington, though he policed in Florence. Okay. There are a couple of parks in his honor. I want to talk about the one on Main Street. What happened to his picture?
Well, let me first say that there is the Terrance F Carraway Park, which is established through the Darlington Recreation Department.
Nice.
And that is on the corner of Southern Pine and Lemon Street. They have dedicated that park in his name, and they have a stage in which they do Praise in the Park on every first Sunday. And we're grateful of that. But there is also what you mentioned on Main Street. That is the South Carolina Fallen Officers Memorial in honor of the late Sergeant Terrance Carraway. Please let me emphasize that again.
Please do.
I just want to make sure because they're very close in proximity to each other. And like you said, the sign is now down. So that is going to, the name of it is the South Carolina Fallen Officers Memorial in honor of the late Sergeant Terrance Carraway. And it is 100% funded by the Terrance F Carraway Foundation.
Okay.
So we did name the park as such because we will have all of the officers and K-9 that have been killed in the line of duty for the entire state of South Carolina listed on monuments and monoliths throughout the park. As far as what happened with the sign, there was an accident where some individual had a medical emergency and veered off and knocked the sign down, leading into the house that's adjacent to the park and ran into that front of that house. So the sign did get knocked down, but the park didn't get damaged, and we have the sign and we secured it in a location since they are doing construction on the memorial as we speak.
Thank you for that very in-depth information.
You're quite welcome.
I appreciate that. Because I was riding through, well, you know, I don't get to drive all the time. Anyway, I was right there. I was like, what happened to the sign? Anyway, okay, so now I know.
Well, I'm glad you did acknowledge that. Thank you.
So now I know. I was like, anyway, it's okay. Now I know. So if someone asks me, I can give them the proper information.
Yes.
And not think somebody stole it.
Now, I know my husband was a good-looking man, but I don't think they would. But you never know.
Right. Right. You never know. I will never forget the day he looked at me. He was grand marshal at a parade, and I had gone up to him and asked him a question about being assaulted. It was a general question, and he looked down at me, because I'm 5'3". He looked down at me. He goes, "Don't you embarrass me out here. I'm grand marshal of this parade. Don't you embarrass me out here." Yes, sir.
Very outspoken, very proud, and I will say very vain. You would ask him, or someone would say, "You're very conceited," and he would say, "I'm not conceited.
I'm confident.
convinced." You know, that was the type of demeanor that, of course, Terrance had. But being that we had known each other 35 years, I met him when I was 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
And no, not a lot of people in Florence knew about me because he knew how to separate and sort of healthy compartmentalize between protecting his family and his work, you know, keeping those separate.
It was so funny. You should have seen his face when he said that. He looked down at me. "Don't you embarrass me out here."
I believe every bit of that, too.
I was like, "Look." Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm in this particular mode here, so don't mess with my mode here.
I am grand marshal of this parade. Don't you embarrass me.
Truly, I believe that.
Whew, that was hilarious. Many years ago, because that was before we even moved to Atlanta, so that was over 20 years ago. That was a long time ago. But things like that bring back fond memories. You know, very fond memories. That being said, what kinds of things does the foundation do? Because I know he worked with PALS and he did some other things.
He did, and this is a new area for me, of course, some place where I never thought that I would be. So we are learning the parts of nonprofit foundation and projects that we can partner with and projects that we have implemented. And we want to work in the PD area because that was his realm. We don't want to stick to one particular location. Currently, we actually have the 5K, the Terrance F Carraway 5K, which will be coming up September 1st at the Darlington Raceway. President Kerry Tharp, who did not know my husband, he brought forth this idea to me the year that he had passed away. And he just wanted, he'd heard so many good things about my husband that he wanted to do something to help raise money for the foundation. And it has been going on ever since, minus the COVID years. And it was usually held in the latter parts of the year, November or October. And last year he brought forth the idea, he wanted to bring it to the Labor Day race weekend so that it would able to bring more people to take part in it. And I'm very appreciative of it. So we do have that coming up September 1st. That's a Thursday at the Darlington Raceway. Registration is still open. And all of the proceeds will go to the Terrance F Carraway Foundation.
Lovely. With that being said, we need to take a short break so we can pay some bills. So we'll have messages from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us. This is the Purely Positive Show, and we are talking with Allison Carraway of the Terrance F Carraway Foundation, and we have been talking about the wonderful things that they are doing. Now, I want you all to understand the reason why this interview is so important is because her husband is a fallen police officer, and it made national news. Yes, we're here in Darlington, the Florence-Darlington area of South Carolina, But what happened surrounding his demise, his death, made national news. And I wanted to make sure that everyone knew about this particular foundation because he is a fallen officer and he was honored in life and in death. So I want to make sure you guys know what's going on. So that being said, we were talking about the 5K. I'm not going to be in the 5K.
I understand.
I can barely walk.
I've had 4 knee replacements, but they do offer also other amenities to the race called a hot lap.
Really?
Which is just one lap around the track itself.
Oh.
And that's you don't have to run, you don't have to walk.
Really?
You can bicycle, you can bring your pets, you can bring your babies and
Like a
push your
wheelchair?
strollers. Yes, you can.
Hot
This
dog.
is open to everyone who would like to participate. We want to recognize not only my husband, but we have asked several first responder agencies to take part by bringing one of their vehicles and they place it along the track.
Okay.
And we want to just thank all first responders because we don't sort of take their jobs into consideration. Yes, law enforcement is definitely a very important job, but we have EMS, we have fire department, you have all first responders, the military, dispatch, all of those are part of the family. So we offer all of the first responder local agencies to bring their vehicle and take part into it as well. We were able to have 12 vehicles on the track last year.
Wonderful. Wonderful. See, you don't know these things if you don't talk with people.
That's true.
So that's why we're having this conversation. That's important. Okay, so I got to say this personal part. I met you last year. What's this, 2022? Yeah,
Yes.
it's going on a year.
Yes, it has been. Almost.
Almost. I met you last year, and we have had some challenges with us actually getting together. But that's okay. We got that straight now. And I remember talking with you about literacy. And I remember you bringing up that you guys are doing some things and partnering with other organizations. So I'm curious, not necessarily how is that going, but how is that going?
Well, I'll be honest. It is going, but it's going slowly because what I'm trying to learn to do is the proper way to partner. And possibly establish our own programs that will help the community. My husband had a very big spot in his heart for the youth. He was a coach for many years. So we thought we would try to go towards the athletes and ensure that we could make them become the better student athlete that makes them more well-rounded. And we wanted to start at an earlier age than junior high and maybe work with the younger children. So we have plans in place. We have an established board and we're working on specific programs that will sort of go to that niche of the younger athlete, student athlete, and we do want to emphasize student athlete because they have to, they're required, more is required of them, and a lot of times the coaches just home in on their athletic ability, but we want to emphasize that they need to be well-rounded in all aspects of their lives, and it needs to be started at an early age. And so that's one thing that we are working on, trying to partner with or establish our own programs. That's very near to me because we had several kids. We only had one biological son. We raised another 10-year-old, his nephew. But at any given point, there were 10 plus boys at the house, and they looked up to him and me. And I still want to do what he has established and carry on his vision.
I have a resource for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna help you with that.
Very much.
So, I'm partnered with a young lady. She has a mentoring program.
Awesome.
She works with mainly young boys, but she works with all students. And yeah, I'll connect you with her.
Thank you so much.
That's going to be very helpful. Very helpful. And of course, I'm going to do whatever I can.
Thank you so much.
To help, because academics is my thing, especially reading. So we'll be doing some stuff.
That's awesome.
We'll be definitely doing some stuff. So what do you have coming up besides the 5K? Anything that I should know about?
Actually, we are in our ending of our fiscal year, which will be the end September 30th. We are wrapping up some of the, we're assessing what we've done for this fiscal year with the board, and we'll be having some end of year meetings to examine where we've come from and what we need to improve upon, starting October 1. October 3rd, it will be the 4th year anniversary of my husband's death, and it becomes an emotional time of year starting in September, being that September is also our anniversary. He passed away after 29 years of marriage, and he had just had a surprise birthday party for me that he was never able to surprise me. And that particular year that I turned 50, he was able to surprise me. So it becomes a little emotional towards after the 5K, and we sort of give ourselves, the family and myself, time to remember him, remember the good memories and his accomplishments and the things that he did, and that we want to continue his memory and his legacy going. That strengthens us as well. So we usually take this time during the fall to give reverence. Yeah, to give reverence to him.
I gotta say, you look good for 50.
I will be 54 in September.
For real?
And thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna be like you when I grow up. Yeah, I'm gonna be like you when I grow up.
All right, I'm trying. I'm just trying to do the best that I can with what I have.
Look, I don't think I'm gonna ever grow up. I loved color, crayons, cartoons.
We should never get rid of the kid in us. You know, we should. And I think that's one thing that Terrance did, as he never got rid of the kid in him.
Yeah, because he was a jump star.
He was able to adapt to any child or any adult in any situation. He was just swift on his feet. He was an intelligent person. People didn't know that we had a little small academic competition. We do Jeopardy, things of that sort. And he'd always beat me out. But, you know, we were very good together as a team, attacking and working on different projects, be it his work, my work, his home, the children. He always had something or a project that he was working on that we did together. So I just miss him.
I know.
We go through different stages of grief, and no one has a specific stage or order, and it's hard to sometimes make it through, but we can get through that, and we can go through. If we have to revert back to another stage, that's okay. Just know that, you know, you can make it through. You can go through different stages of your grief.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I've never had anybody explain it that way. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That's some information that a lot of people need. I really needed to hear that, so thank you. That being said, I want to go on a happy note.
Okay.
What you're going to be doing a lot of reflection because your fiscal end, the fiscal end of the year is coming up, but you're holding a brochure in your hand. Tell me about that.
Yes, this is a brochure that we created for our foundation, and it does simply say continuing his selfless service to the community, and it states what our mission is, and the mission is to continue his vision of fusion between the community, law enforcement, and first responders through service, through communication, education, and simple understanding. It gives a bio background of my husband. And he was also an Air Force veteran of 23 years, of which I have to float his boat. He was one of the 12 outstanding airmen 2002. That's the top 12 airmen in the United States.
Yeah.
He would always say, "You don't know all the people I know." I know a lot of people, which he met Neil Armstrong. He met several actors and things throughout his military career as well as his police career. It also has our board, our executive group, and some of the projects that we have done since we founded the foundation, which we have a movie night that we do partner with the recreation department. We are partnering with the Florence Recreation Department with their trunk or treat this year. That's an upcoming project that we do have, a program that we'll be doing with the Recreation Department October 20th in Florence.
Let me call Victoria.
And we always partner with the Recreation Department. Brantley Jett is one of the board members for the foundation. He was also one of Terrance's football players, Pee Wee football players that he took to the state championship. So a lot of the people that we know and that are part of the board are someone who has interacted with my husband.
Got you. Excellent. So if I'm a viewer and I'm watching, how can I get involved?
Well, you can call. We're just a call away, and it's me. It's not a very big, large foundation. And I always have my phone, and if not, I will get back to you immediately, and I will give that information. Our number is area code 843-617-8034, and that is directly to me, Allison Carraway. We do have our foundation website, which is www.thetfcfoundation.com. And we have our email address, which is basically thetfcfoundation@gmail.com.
Okay, all right. Now that made me think about something. You guys have a scholarship.
We do.
Tell us about that.
The Florence Police Department, again, he was a 30-year veteran at the Florence Police Department, 2 of which he served active duty with the military. So he would always tell you, I worked 32 years at the police department. But yes, ma'am, they offered a scholarship the very first year he passed away. And there's so many children that he impacted. I thought that let's add to what they're doing. And so now we've established where there are 4 scholarships, and we do 2 Florence Public Schools high school seniors and 2 Darlington Public School high school seniors, and we give them a $1,000 scholarship to their college of choice and a $200 stipend for miscellaneous things. And we hope to expand on that. We do keep in contact with our scholarship winners, because once you're a part of our family, you're always going to be a part of our family. So we keep in touch with them.
Love that. Family is important.
Yes.
I love that. What, let's see. What message would you like for our viewers to know?
That's a deep question.
It is. My bad. I'm sorry. My bad.
That's one. I would like for the viewers to know that it's not about me, what I'm doing. I do this for Terrance. He was tragically taken away from us, and once he passed away, I knew he told me that I had to advocate for him, and without hesitation, that was a yes. And I plan to and will do. This is my passion. I enjoy doing it. I learn as I go. I have hiccups. I'm human. But I'm available to help and assist just as he was. And I just want to carry out his legacy He's done too much to just be forgotten. He won't be forgotten. And that is what I'm doing with this foundation, simply carrying on what he would have done had he been here.
Very well said. Very well said.
Thank you.
I have to, this is very sobering for me, for many reasons. And I thank you so much for taking the time to come over here today.
Thank you.
We'll be talking a lot more, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Oh, we will. I promise you. We will. We'll be talking a lot more. I want to thank our viewers for joining us today. Remember that being positive is a choice. Make it the very best choice that you can. In other words, if you're encountering something negative, think about what can turn it around and make it positive. If you have any control over it, then do that. If not, pray about it. Say a positive prayer about it and keep moving. Have a great day, and I'll be talking with you soon. Bye.